All right, welcome everybody online who's watching now or later if you log in after the fact. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kayla, for joining us here in person, so I don't have to only talk to a screen. It's much nicer to have somebody to connect with rather than just, doing the whole, movie or newscaster kind of thing. And then this and then that. Although I did find a really cool way where when I'm sharing my screen, I can put myself over top of the picture and point at things. It's like this new feature that Blue Jeans has. It's pretty fun. Nice. So I did it for one of our high school virtual meetings that I did with the seniors and stuff. So I had slides up on the screen and then I was pointing to things, It was pretty cool. I feel fancy.
Yeah.
It was
very
fun.
techy.
Yeah, it was nice. So let me go ahead and share my screen so the agenda is up for anybody watching online. All right. So again, welcome to our June PAC meeting. Glad to have you. For enrollment and promoting Raven, we do have both re-enrollment and new enrollment open. We've still got some families that are finishing up getting re-enrolled for next year, making their decisions. We've got new enrollments coming in. Our gumball machine is filling up. It's so exciting to see them getting higher. I need to cut more gumballs because we've got some kids that have just recently enrolled that haven't gone on there yet. So it's getting more full. If you stop by the office, you'll see our awesome gumball. I almost wore my gumball machine earrings today because I know we'd be talking about it, but I'm no, I'm going to save it. So anyway, it's pretty fun. Right now, we're at 299 students for next school year. We went up 29 since last month's meeting. We're still 5 fewer than last year at this same meeting time frame, but 5 students is not that much at all. We were at, I think by the end of for this whole school year, we were at 325 or so. So we're getting close to our number of students for next year as we were for this current year. So that's exciting, but keep spreading the word, tell other people. There's advertisements out there in different ways on Facebook and the radio and various other elements, but honestly, most people, when we ask them, how did you hear about Raven? It's word of mouth. That's how people find out about us and join us, is because of either happy people saying, hey, you should join us. So I had a nice long conversation with a prospective family this morning and asking lots of questions, and anybody who wants to join us, we'd love to have more families come and join the fun. For upcoming activities, I love the all activities sign up link. We've got it right at the very top of each of our weekly newsletters. We've got a QR code scanner here at the office, and what I'm able to do is put all of our activities on that one spot. So you can go to the one sign up link and everything is listed out underneath that. So as I set up new ones, they get put underneath that group sign up page. There's also a link to that on our website. On the Juneau office tab, it says sign up for activities here or whatever.
Nice.
So there's multiple different places you can click on that and see all the upcoming activities that have their sign-ups set up already. Weekly newsletters have specific reminders for the week, that type of stuff. Some things that we're continuing this month through June: Chess Club, Marvelous Mondays, Lego Club are continuing this month. Chess Club's been going great. They have just so much fun. Marvelous Mondays, this month we're doing movies, and it's really fun. We've done 2 Mondays so far, and we've got 2 more to come, and we just set up rows of chairs, so it's like a movie theater, and then have a spot where we grab the bean bags from in there and have those and blankets and stuff, so they can have a loungy spot or movie theater seating. And then we've made that the concession stand. Oh, so yeah. I've got popcorn popped and all sorts of other little goodies they can pick from. So they can come in, get their treats, have a seat and everything, and right at 2:30, I'm shutting the doors, turning off the lights, and starting the movie.
That's awesome.
And so they get to be in here, and it's pretty impressive because the screen is a decent sized screen, and so we put it up on there, turn off the lights, close the doors, so it really feels like you're in this nice dark movie theater, and they can go back and get treats from the concession stand whenever they want. And it was great on Monday listening to him laughing. It was Chicken Run this week, and so I kept hearing him cracking up. I was keeping on working, but I had it all set up in here for them. So when I went home, I was like, can we watch Chicken Run? So we watched Chicken Run on Monday night because the kids had so much fun watching it earlier. So we've got Shark Tale next week, and then Puss in Boots on the last week of the month. So kids can come to any or all. We've already had several that have come to both.
Okay.
So they can come to as many of them as they want. It's been a really fun way to do the Marvelous Mondays this month, because usually I just cancel them for June. But somebody mentioned about this. I was like, sure, we can do that. That doesn't take, more than 5-10 minutes of setup on my part, and then I don't need to sit here with them. But the kids have been loving it. So I have been wondering about doing like a monthly movie or something, where like once a month we have a movie day here and do the same thing, pop popcorn, set up stuff. So like throughout the school year, maybe once a month movie night day, whatever. And then the Marvelous Mondays in June again. This has worked so well. I'm like, I'm totally doing this next year.
Yeah.
So really fun. My intention was to send out like, vote on the movies, and I just didn't get to it in time. So I'm like, I'm just picking.
Yeah.
This is what it's going to be. I went through and I looked at Kids in Mind and Common Sense Education reviews to, pick some that would be good. And within an hour and a half, that was the hardest part. Finding ones that were no longer than an hour and a half. I didn't realize how hard that would be.
Yeah. They do make them longer these days, seems like.
Yeah, even like an hour and 45 minutes was like, no more than an hour and a half.
Yep.
So, like, that was the first thing I looked for, and then had a list, and I was like, okay, out of these, and what I had access to through my Amazon and Netflix accounts,
Right.
So I'm like, okay, they have to meet these qualifications, and so these ones fit the bill. But I still have a list of others that I was considering that I can then look at for next year or for, monthly things. So, do you think that would be fun at all to do a
I think
monthly?
it'd be awesome.
Okay.
How many kids can you fit in here?
So far,
I feel like in the school year it'd be even more popular.
Right.
Like, more kids.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had like 8 or
They're all
10.
sitting in a chair.
Yeah, so we can just set up lines of chairs. We can have the little like spot in the front. So I feel like we could fit a good 20 or 30 if we're just sitting.
Yeah. You
Um,
don't need room for moving around the game.
right. Exactly. It's just sit and chill and watch and have some snacks and.
That'd be brilliant.
So, I think I'm gonna probably do that. I don't know when in the month, but I think like a monthly movie day would be fun. Maybe like a Friday. I don't know. We'll see as we get closer, but I thought that'd be cool.
Yeah.
For July, Chess Club will continue. Kellen's gonna keep that going, but we won't have Marvelous Mondays for July or August. They're both months where there's so much to focus on with getting ready for the school year, getting ILP meetings done, getting everything ready, that I usually take a break those 2 months. I have a week off in July that I do for VBS, so I'm not here for that. And it's just like, we really need to focus on all of the enrollment stuff, getting everything for all 300 and some of our kids ready to go, putting in orders, processing reimbursements, that kind of stuff. So we won't do Marvelous Mondays in July or August. Lego Club, we might take a break too, same kind of thing. And then usually what we'll end up doing is usually in August, we will do our open house and announce all the everything starting up in September. And it seems like that's worked pretty well for us the last few years, doing that kind of layout of stuff. So I'm hoping between this meeting and the next couple, we can really get things laid out and planned. So in August, when we do our open house, we can do the same kind of thing like we did this last year. Here's all the signups for all the things. Here's when everything's going to be happening. Get signed up, and come September, all of our regularly scheduled stuff is getting started. Cool. Got all the books, all those sorts of things. So, does that sound like a good plan?
Yes.
Because families are busy anyway, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has the good intentions. Like,
Right.
we'll be there. But, like, it's summer. We all
Right.
want a break. We want to sleep in. We want to stay up late.
Yeah.
We want to be out all night. Like, it just...
Yeah. A few things, like special things, but not like the regularly occurring regular stuff.
Once a month movie, for sure they'll make it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm glad we
I got
had
that.
even good intentions of coming to chess club, and that's
Right.
only once a week.
Right.
It's chess, they love it.
Yeah.
And we still just like, oh my gosh, it's Sunday, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what's nice about being able to just drop everything and go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those other regular occurring activities, some might start resuming in August, but more likely September will be that, kickoff after we do the open house
A lot
and
of
stuff.
people are still like it's huge, big fishing time, or that's their last hurrah traveling before.
Yeah, and school, like the local schools start up mid-August, and so a lot of people, like, that's when all of a sudden they're going, oh, no, it's time?
Yeah.
I better get on this. So, yeah, that's what I figured. I'm still trying to work on some surveys about how families felt about the 22-23 activities, what they liked, what their favorites were, what things they would change. So that can help us with more of that planning and guiding our next year of activities. I feel like a lot of stuff went well, and I haven't heard really negative feedback, but I would like to hear, like, what were your favorites? So I guess I'm planning Marvelous Mondays for next year. What were the favorite themes? Are there some, I had done totally different stuff this year than I did the previous year. I've done it now 2 years in a row, and everything has been different. So it's like, do I do a whole third year of all different stuff? Do I use some of the kind of same things that I've done the last 2 years? What were people's favorites for, like, yeah, do this again versus whatever, But I thought we had some really fun times, and I'm already thinking of some different things that we haven't done yet. So I think it'll be good. And so hopefully I'll be able to get those surveys out. I really thought I'd have them out in the last month, but it's just been busier, It's every time I get to this time of year, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have some time to get caught up. And then it's like, where am I going to have time to get caught up? So it is what it is. As far as some one-time activities to be looking ahead to, June 22nd at 1 p.m., we're going to do a pre-K through 6th grade sensory activity. This is one that a parent asked us to do a couple of months ago at a PAC meeting. And so I don't have everything planned yet, but I think what we're going to do is, like, different stations for different senses. So, because at first I was like, sensory activity, like, what do you mean by that? Or what do you want, with that? And so I've been looking up some different stuff, and I was like, oh, well, this could be like our touch sense station, and this could be our smell sense station, and this could be our taste station. So as I'm getting ready for that, Kellen and I will be running it, and I think it'll have fun doing just some various, like, senses activities and stuff. So, of course, like the water beads, those are a must.
Yeah.
And I've been doing some Pinterest stuff, some other ideas of things. So before June 22nd, we'll have it figured out, which is in fewer days than I would like, but it should be fun. And I need to get the flyer sent out about that and everything. So I should have that done by Friday, because that's next week. So before Friday, I'll have the more details figured out. But it should be fun. We've never done a sensory specific activity before, so you'll find out along with me.
All right.
For the Arboretum field trip and tour, I've been in communication with the gal there to give us a tour. That was another one that was requested a couple months ago. And the boats went toward a guided tour versus just let's go and meet there at the same time and explore.
Oh.
So I reached out to them. They said yes, they'd love to do it for us. The gal who organizes them and would be leading the tour was out of town last week. And so she said she'd connect with me this week. So I need to nudge her again and say, hey, June 29th is what I requested. It'll be, that last week of the month. We don't have much going on there, but we thought that'd be kind of a fun time to see what stuff is going on with flowers and everything out there. And then our hope is that then in another month or two, we could go out again and see the changes, and kind of do some periodic, like, let's see what's changed now out there and how different things are blooming and that kind of stuff. So that should be fun. We went years ago, and it was really interesting to see. And Kellen said he'd gone out there not too long ago, and it was already pretty cool to see that kind of stuff. So families can go anytime they want when it's open. It's open like Wednesday through Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, June 29th is what we're asking for, and we gave her a couple of different time options of morning and afternoon and such. So as soon as I get that set, I will send that out as well. I'm hoping to nudge her this afternoon or tomorrow and maybe have an answer before Friday. We'll see. Our ice cream social is on the calendar again, July 6th at 2 p.m. So we always do like a, Happy Birthday America theme. I'm going back and forth. Give me your opinion. Should we do popsicles or should we do scoop ice cream with toppings like we used to? Since COVID,
are so easy.
I know. Since COVID, we shifted to popsicles because it's all individually wrapped and you just grab what you want.
Yeah.
Prior to COVID, we always did the, scoop from the big tubs and top it with all your different toppings and like ice cream party. So I'm really struggling and going back and forth about, the ease of popsicles
Super easy.
and the how much fun is it to like, you know, with the whipped cream and everything. Thoughts as a parent?
I would probably lean towards the prepackaged. I'm kind of lame though. Like, it is more fun to type
Right.
your own, but also like if you're the 20th kid in line, there's now whipped cream in all of the topping bowls. And
True.
for whoever's cleaning up, it is
Yeah.
messier. You can get quite a variety of the packaged stuff.
There is a lot of
For
options.
allergy or sensitive people, that's easier to like.
It is.
They know which one they can get, and it hasn't been contaminated.
Right. I know, there are a lot of
They're
benefits.
both good options.
Right. It's just so fun. I wonder if we could do something with like, I don't know, some way to have a little bit of the element of the fun of the building the ice cream without that. Like build something else, or I don't know. I had these really cool things when I was teaching where I had ice cream cones and scoops of ice cream, and they were my chalkboard. I had a real chalkboard, and it was magnetic. And so as the kids did stuff, they got to like build their ice cream cones. So I'd like, you know, boys versus girls, or this half the
Yeah.
class versus this half the class. And so like they got to pick what flavor of ice cream they wanted and stack them up. Or I would have the scoops on the board, and I would have sticky notes on the back of them with like special treats and things. And so if they were doing well, they got to go and grab a scoop of ice cream and see what their treat was on the back. Or I had a whole bunch of different ways that I used the ice cream cones and ice cream scoops for incentive things when I was teaching. It was so fun. But maybe we could do something like that where there's some sort of a game or an activity that would be ice cream related without like literal ice cream scooping.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just fun to hang out and chat and, you know, keep it simple too.
Kids will come for popsicles and like
Right.
ice cream sandwiches. And,
Yeah.
You know, Costco has the Oreo Costco sandwiches right now.
They do?
Yesterday they did.
Oh.
I did not buy some, but they are there.
Yeah.
I was tempted.
For the Awana closing awards ceremony this year, we got a bunch of treats from Costco, the packaged stuff.
Mhm.
And we had never tried the Malona fruit
Yeah.
bars. But, so we tried them for that, and like, of course, it was so funny. The kids didn't eat the coconut ones as much, so that's what was left over. They are really good.
Really?
Yes, they are.
They look
like,
so weird.
they look so weird, but they taste so good. They're really creamy, and like it's not really like a popsicle or an ice cream bar. It's somewhere in the middle. Very odd, but they are
Weird.
really good. Like the melon ones, the honeydew, literally tastes like you're eating a fresh honeydew piece, except it's colder.
Huh.
Yeah, they're very refreshing and yummy. So
Okay.
I wouldn't, and now my husband calls them melanomas. And he keeps joking, we need to go get some melanomas. I'm like, no, don't call it that. It's terrible. Melona. So, you know, they're very good. So,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, we'll do packaged ones. It'll make it simpler. And the cleanup is so much better.
Yeah.
But we'll try and do something
There's
fun.
never enough volunteers to like.
Yeah, the scooping and the, I know. I look back at pictures of when we would do that, and it was so fun to see, you know, the crazy stuff, but then you'd also have the kid who put like 25 scoops of M&Ms on it, and it's like, you know, making this disastrous mess. And it's like, yeah, this is a lot nicer. So, okay, good. The parent has spoken. If you wanted to have a different choice, you should have been here. Just kidding. Okay. So, I'm looking forward to that. And one of the cool things is our new advisory teacher, Donna, starts the first week of July, and so she'll be here. So that'll be a great time for families to get to meet her, you know, meet and greet, connect, learn a bit about her, that kind of thing. You know, totally overwhelm her with how awesome our families are right as she's getting started.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. She seems like a really neat gal, and she really wants to do some fun science activities and stuff because she's been a
good.
science teacher for years, and
Okay.
math and everything too. So yeah, she's gonna be a great resource. It'll be really fun as we get to have everybody meet her and, you know, that kind of stuff. Another event that was requested a month or so ago was tide pooling. So Kellen and I looked at the tides schedule for an option that would not be like bonko crazy early in the morning. And the soonest time we discovered when we looked at it a couple weeks ago was July 7th at 11 a.m. So we will do tide pooling on July 7th at 11 a.m. I don't know exactly where. Have you guys found like a best place for tide pooling?
We always go to Lena, we always have.
Right.
But I've heard it's better out at Outer Point. It's just more of a walk to get there.
Right.
So depending on the age range you're wanting to capture.
Yeah, kind of anything really. It's usually the younger kids that are like really intrigued by it.
Also, I haven't gone in quite a while, like 6 months at least. And the last few times I did go, there wasn't nearly as much at Lena as there had been previously.
Right.
I don't know if it's seasonal.
Yeah.
I know very little bit about it.
Maybe I'll put a post in our Facebook group and say, hey, we've got tide pooling scheduled for July 7th at 11 a.m. Where does everybody recommend? And see what people think. I am not a big tide pooler. I've not gotten into that kind of stuff so much, so I don't know. But
it also, I wonder if you had enough parents or teachers interested. Like, somebody could go out to like PAC, Lena, where it's super easy, accessible. Hopefully there's something cool.
Right.
And then somebody willing to go Outer Point, where it's a hike. It's going to be a longer endeavor, and potentially older kids that can pack their own snacks and water and whatever.
Right. Good idea.
Not that I'm volunteering myself.
Yeah.
I realize. Like, Monica, I think, goes out there all the time.
Okay.
I feel like if there was a pool of enough parents
Yeah.
to walk out together.
Well, I'll ask her too.
Because tide pooling I would assume it wouldn't be dropping your kid off and leaving.
No,
the parents are staying.
should,
So just everyone meet at whatever time.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where it's like, I think the lowest of that low tide was at like 10:30, I think. So we're like, okay, 11 o'clock would be a nice, like, meet there. It's like just going to be coming in from its lowest kind of a thing. So
the low point is at 10:30.
I think that's what it was there. Yeah.
Walk out at 10.
Okay.
Because then you could, historically looking back when Troy was like a year or two younger, they move so slowly that by the time you make it from the parking lot down to like, because you walk out quite a ways to the sand, and then that way you can catch the last bit of it going out, and then you have the whole, it comes in pretty fast.
Yeah. I can't remember. I'll look at the schedule again and see. I think that's what it was, where like the lowest was somewhere around there. Talon starts at 11, so that's what we're thinking. Like, it's just him and I in the office today, I think. And so it was like, okay, well, 11 o'clock. It's close to that time when you'd be doing that, and it's not too early for families to be like, I don't want to be out that early. But I'll look at it again and see if we need to bump it up just a little bit there, and based on the location could affect that too.
Yeah, because if you're walking out from Outer Point, like,
right.
I haven't walked out there in years. I don't know how long it takes, but
I've never been.
Yeah. But because we used to go like, oh, it's low tide at 11. Let's go at 11, and we would like miss a ton of cool stuff because it was already starting to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Those are really good points. Thanks. I'll reach out to you there to see if anybody has specific thoughts or like, oh yeah, this is our, go-to spot. I'll lead a group, because we could do multiple locations.
That's something that could be really easy for a bunch of meetup. You don't need necessarily field trip days on person.
Yeah. Yeah. He has fun going too, though.
Yes. Yes.
You get to go and play with the kids. I enjoy doing it too, but it's a lot easier for me to do the things that are here versus the time to get out to it and do it and come back. It takes so much time away from
like, if the tide is still low, but the low point is at 11 or 11:30 on the 8th or 9th, like if only one of you is available or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. That'll be fun. And then Glacier Gardens tour. Got it scheduled between the time I did this agenda and printed it. But I got it just figured out yesterday or the day before. So July 10th at 10 a.m. There's a sign-up link in the weekly newsletter. If you click the all sign-up link, it's there. We can have 50 people, and it's free. And we just can't have more adults than kids because they want to make sure the kids are getting, to go. But it's like, a parent with 2 or 3 kids, that's just fine. That's just, or even a parent and a kid, just not like 3 parents coming with this one kid. This kid is my ticket to go, and I have all these, adults that are coming too. No. Like, let's make sure the kids get a chance to come. But again, it's not really a drop off your kid thing. They've got like, have you ever been?
No.
Oh, it's so cool.
The parking lot.
Yeah. So it's like they've got these like golf carts with multiple like rows of seats, and so then you like load up on the golf carts and they like drive you up and this windy like mountain thing and tell you all about this cool stuff. I did it once years ago, and it was years ago. But when my husband was working for the cruise lines, he got like an employee discount because of driving buses for them. So we took my dad and stepmom when they came to visit. So I can't remember how many years ago. It was probably at least 6 or 8 years ago now. But it was really beautiful and super cool and not cheap. So the fact that they're giving us 50 spots for free is amazing. So they gave us 2 date options. One of them was this upcoming Monday, and I said that's too quick to try to get the word out. But July 10th, that'll give us time to get people signed up and all of that. And I'm just so excited to get to do it. So that was another request people had for stuff. So please come to our meetings, tell us what you want to do, and we'll get it scheduled. Another one that I've been getting asked about is the Ellen Marine Tracy Arm stuff. I haven't got that on the calendar yet. I need to find out who the contact person is now to reach out to, because the gal I used to work with isn't with them anymore. So I don't know who to reach out to, but I will find that out. My intention was to do that this morning, and then I was fielding all kinds of other phone calls and different stuff, so I didn't quite get to it.
You guys have done this many years in a row.
Yes, yeah, and I had the same contact gal the whole time, but then the last one, she had told me, I'll help you coordinate this one, but this is my last summer with them and that kind of thing. So I need to reach out and find out, okay, should I contact, to do this? Oh, you connected with them? Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, yeah. Lenny is the gal that I used to work with. Coordinating.
Lenny's amazing.
She seemed really awesome.
I'm really sad when she left.
Yeah.
But good for her to retire.
I know, exactly, yeah. So she's the one I always worked with, and so it was her email address so it wasn't even like a, general one. So I'm like, I don't even know who to connect with now.
Well, I'll ask him. So, it has been a crazy summer.
Right.
Did we do this last year?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, it's been a couple of years.
It's like
Maybe
COVID threw everything off, so
yes.
it's taking a couple of years to rebound with organization, whatever. But
yeah.
I'll ask him if they have a person or if they have the ability to even do that this year.
Yeah, I think it was the summer before last, because we did do it where there was still like a mask thing. So we have done one since COVID, but it was like maybe a bigger boat and more people and different stuff. But they had masks at that point. I think it was like, if you're inside, you should be wearing a mask. If you're outside, you don't need to. I can't remember exactly, but we had a big crowd, and I've had a lot of people asking me for it again, and this summer has been crazy. And I also really would like to try and do like just like a 2-hour option or something, because we've got a lot of families with little ones who are like, I can't do an 8-hour, 9-hour all day trip, but I would love to do a 2-hour whale watch tour or whatever, hour and a half, whatever their usual kind of standard thing is. So one thing I thought was like alternating one summer a long one summer a short one, or even like August a short one, September a long one, or something like that. If it's
their standard is 3 hours.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
But
like what it was.
For a field trip, like they might be willing to work with you on like
there's
been a lot of stuff within 2-hour range or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I wasn't sure, like what
if you remind me after this, I can text him like before I forget.
Yeah.
And just I'll send you.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was standard, but I know like families with little bitty kiddos, kindergarten, first even, like that's a long day. You gotta really have some activities to do and that kind of stuff, because it's gorgeous and it's so worth going. You learn so much, and it's just such a neat experience for kids that can sit for that long,
There's also, they have the Orca Point Lodge. I don't know, like, where, for cruise ship passengers, they do, like, a whale watch, and then, say, like, they'll do, 40 minutes of a whale watch, and then they drop everyone off at the lodge. They have a salmon bake lunch, dinner, whatever, and then you can walk along the beach, and, like, kids could play and run a little bit, and then get back on the boat to finish the whale watch.
Interesting.
I have no idea how they would feel about something like that, but
well, it'd be interesting to see what other options are, because and I don't even remember how we initially first got started with doing specifically the Tracy Arm trip, but I think it was probably somebody said, hey, we should do the Tracy Arm trip, so I reached out and said, hey, can we do a Tracy Arm trip? but knowing about other options and stuff, it would be kind of fun to be like, hey, you know, we've got families who would like this, if we can do a school group discount, because they usually give us a pretty good discount as a school group. Still, it costs, but, you know, for locals to be able to do something that you wouldn't normally do because it's all touristy stuff, it's kind of fun. You get to be a tourist in your town. So, cool. Yeah. Nice. Yay. I'm glad you're the one that's here. Perfect timing.
I'm useful sometimes.
You are always useful. I love it. Do you have any other thoughts on one-time activities, stuff coming up here of like summary kind of things, June, July?
Travel, so I mean myself included. I don't even know if I will make it to all of this. So I mean, you could even just do like in July or August, like everyone's gonna meet up at whatever park or whatever trail, like just a random, let's go do this together as a group, just for the sake of having something planned that is an option. Right.
Something I really have been wanting to do again, I loved doing the show and tell story time during COVID when I was doing that online. Did your kiddos come to that at all? I can't remember. It was just so fun to have the kids, you know, show us stuff and then to get to read together. So I stopped that when I started doing Marvelous Mondays the last 2 years, because I had been doing it weekly with the show and tell story time on Mondays, and then I shifted it to the Marvelous Mondays. But I'm like, you know, maybe at like a once a month show and tell story time of like, bring your stuff in, let's, you know, because in school you would be having, especially in the younger grades, show and tell weekly or show and tell monthly or something. Like, bring something in, show your friends, and then we'll sit and read. And I've got this cool app, Novel Effect. I've used it for a couple of different activities now, where you read books and it adds sound effects as you're reading.
Oh.
It is so fun. And I just, during Teacher Appreciation Week, they had a discount on the annual subscription. So I went ahead and splurged and bought myself the subscription. And so I'm like, okay, now I want to use it.
That's cool.
So it's so fun. So I'm like, well, if we did a month, once a month show and tell story time, we could even start in like August of like, bring something from over the summer to show and tell us about, and then we'll read some summary stories and maybe have like different themes each month or something of just a once a month show and tell time. Do you think that'd be fun?
Personally, I don't think my kids would be into it.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of kids would.
Yeah.
So
we had some when we were doing it virtually that even were like, they'd join from out on the beach and show us like stuff on the beach or, you know, this place or that place. It would be one that we could do as a combo, virtual and in person, if there were kids in other communities like our, you know, Sitka or Haines or whatever, out of town families could join. We could put it up on the screen here where they could show the kids that are sitting here their stuff and they can show them there. So we could potentially do that one as a hybrid option. And so even if somebody in town was like, I can't come in for it, but my kid wants to join, you know, they can listen to the story easily online there and, you know, they can share their stuff. So it might be a good option for that hybrid element to try to tie in those families that don't have the ability to come in.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Those are just kind of some thoughts I had on that type of thing. I really want to use my app. I want to finish my new toy. Yeah, I don't know. I had so much fun with it that it's like, I miss that connection. And one of the kids was so fun. Planted a, avocado seed. Beginning of our time. She had an avocado, like one of those little plushy, like, avocado things. And so I was telling her about it. I said, have you ever sprouted an avocado seed? And she's like, what? So we talked about how you can grow an avocado tree from the seed. And so, like, the next week, she showed us that she had stuck her little avocado seed in and was getting ready. And then over the course of the next couple of months, each week we would check in with her and see, and so we got to see its progress as it was sprouting and growing and the roots and everything, and it was just so much fun. And I'm like,
cool.
I want to ask her. They're not with us anymore, you know. I'm like, I want to know how her avocado plant is doing. How tall has it gotten? You know, that kind of stuff. So it was just so much fun. I really enjoyed that connection time, and I mean, some of it was because of COVID. We couldn't be doing all of our usual stuff, so it was that connection I still had with the kids by doing it. So maybe some of it's just from that, like, oh, it was just fun.
If you had a good turnout for that, then yeah.
We had a good, probably a dozen kids that joined us regularly. And then they would have something, usually they were sitting and like playing with stuff. They have to turn themselves on mute. And I sat and read to them for half an hour. So a couple of times we did like a chapter book. And so we'd read, for a half an hour, and then wherever it was, we'd bookmark it and okay, this is where we're going to pick up next, With weekly ones, it was easier to do that because it was like, okay, only a week in between. With only once a month, it'd be harder to do a continuing story. But there's plenty of fun short stories where we could read several of the, picture books in them in an hour, half an hour. So, cool. Well, other things, high school students, I know you're not quite there yet, but it is good to know as they're getting older because they are growing so fast. Intro to high school workshop and intro to senior year workshop. We did some virtual ones, we did some in-person ones, now's another virtual one. This is the last one before the summer, and then they'll plan some more for probably like September timeframe, but this is the last one that's got a date and time on the calendar. So if you have a high school student, June 20th at 10 a.m. is that intro to high school, which is also good for 8th graders, like even 7th and 8th graders to start looking ahead to high school, thinking about it, and knowing what things they can earn high school credit for in middle school. So once your kiddos get up to that spot too, 7th and 8th grade is a good time to do that intro to high school workshop to just start to kind of understand how high school works. We had a good turnout last month for our in-person one, and we made up little high school survival kits, and so they got like a little pencil pouch with all sorts of stuff stuffed in it, and with a little note of like this to do that, like we put a little sponge in it, just like a piece of a sponge to soak up knowledge, and different candies for different types of things. I couldn't find Smarties anywhere in town. But one of the things, like our high school counselor sent us a whole list of like, here's ideas of what to put in there. I could not find all of the things on her list, so my list was pared down of what actually went into it. But I couldn't believe that there were not Smarties anywhere. It was so weird. Like in town, I'm sure, if I'd been working ahead 2 weeks in advance, I could have ordered it online, but that did not happen. So anyway, intro to senior year also is a great time to start thinking about what do you need to know as a senior for graduating. We will start doing monthly senior meetings coming up. We'll probably do our first meeting in September, and at that point plan out the activities for the whole year. We did that this last year where we had a kickoff senior meeting in September, and then the kids who were here for it planned out, okay, what do you want to do? We've made a whole list of the activities they want to do together, and then, okay, what months do we do each of these things in? And so then we planned out the whole schedule. So we'll plan on doing that this year too. Send out invites to all the seniors. Hey, we want that group class camaraderie. This last year, we did better at it this last year. We had a lot of fun with the kids who came to the monthly meetings and activities. But even this year at graduation, there were a couple of kids who came, and they're like, you're graduating too? From here? I remember you from middle school. Like, they went to public school 6th grade together and hadn't seen each other or realized they were both in Raven and both graduating until literally the day before when we're practicing of like, you're here too? So we much prefer them to get to know each other sooner than, graduation day. What? You're also graduating with me? So we're trying to figure out ways where we can have a little bit more of that, them knowing who's graduating with them and, that kind of stuff. We always have to navigate the whole FERPA stuff of like what we can and can't, list out and give and share. But it's like, come to the meeting and then you'll know who's graduating with you. So yeah, we're doing that kind of stuff. It's really fun. We had a great time this last year with all the senior meetings and stuff. We did a escape room. We did a movie day. They were the first ones I did a movie day with, and it was our seniors who were like, this is really fun. Why don't we do this more often? I said, I don't know. We should, because this was really easy to do. Yeah. We did photo scavenger hunt stuff where they went out and did all these, pictures around town and stuff, and it was great. We did lots of different stuff. They did a Secret Santa, like, gift exchange thing in December. It was cool. So we'll see what this next year looks like of what the student they want to do, but it'll be fun. To the end, important dates and reminders, June 15th, which is tomorrow. The deadline for May and June internet and encumbered receipts. If you encumbered any funds, get those receipts to me. I think you already got everything turned in to me, so that's grand. And I just sent the reminder again. Don't forget, don't wait until 4:30 on Thursday, because Thursday is Joan's last day until July 12th. She's going to be going on this big, like, international trip with her family, which is awesome. She's going to have so much fun. And then Tracy's last day is also the 15th. So that's their last day to sign off on everything, which means everybody needs to get their stuff turned in before they sign out for the day. So get that stuff turned in, and we'll get it processed. My goal is to then have everything submitted to the business office on Friday and get a 2-week break from reimbursements before everything kicks off July 1st. 2 weeks without reimbursements! Kind of silly to cheer that much about something like that, right?
I would not want to process all that paperwork.
There's a lot that goes into them, and just all the technical, fine details of everything, and, this receipt doesn't work, and this is what we need, and I definitely, if I have to list out what's the trickiest part of my job, it's anything having to do with money. Everything else is great, but money, when I have to tell somebody, you don't have money, or this doesn't work, I need something more, that's hard. So, don't be one of those people, get it turned in. I don't want to have to tell you on Monday, I'm sorry, it's too late, I cannot do anything about it. Because this one is really, really a tight one, where we can't accept anything late, even with a really good excuse. Like, sometimes people have legit, I was in the hospital kind of thing. Yeah. But this one, even legit excuses I can't do anything about, because literally the business office has to pay it all out and get everything closed before June 30th, so July 1st they can open up the new stuff. Well, I think it's like July 3rd, because the 1st and 2nd are over the weekend, but, basically. The school year ends June 30th. Our academic year technically ends June 15th, and that gives the teachers just those last 2 weeks to close things out, except for Joan and Tracy have tomorrow is the last that they have. July 1st, the new school year begins. A lot of families have been asking, when does money become available for next school year? July 1st, technically the 3rd, because that's the first day of the week, as long as all the enrollment paperwork has been done. So the cool thing is, this year, all the enrollment paperwork is in Brightways, like even the field trip form and everything. So everything can be done digitally, which is so much simpler. Everything can be done in there. ILP, all of that stuff. The only thing that's not is like if somebody is dual enrolled with the public school, we've still got that because the school has to sign off on it and they can't sign off on something in our system. So, but all of the regular
enrollment stuff. A notification that will show up if you're missing anything.
Yeah, that's what's so awesome. So when you log in on your Brightways dashboard, a big green button will pop up that says complete, the field trip form, or complete the whatever you're missing. The only one that it doesn't do that with is the ILP, which I wish there was a way for it to trigger like sign your ILP button. Mm-hmm. And I should ask about that again. Like, is there any way, because they have it set up for everything else, I should ask about that. Because that would be really helpful. So that you can just click right there, hey, my ILP needs this. If it's in the awaiting parent signature status, that it pops up that button. I'll ask about it. Good question.
Because I went to sign in to sign it, and I was like, well, I know I have to sign it,
but
it doesn't say anywhere.
The ILP is the only one that doesn't pop up that way. But it would be really good if it did. So I will ask. It can't hurt to ask. For the holidays, 4th of July, we will close at 1:30 on the 3rd. So we will be open that morning. Close at 1:30 for the holiday, be closed all day on the 4th, and then we're back on the 5th and back to normal schedule. And then that's where the 6th, we've got our ice cream social, the 7th tide pooling, starting it right off with, getting right into fun things. So, yeah, it's really good. I'm going to skip this one and come back. I need to rearrange these two items, because every time I do this, I always skip questions, feedback, ideas, and do this one first, and then it's there. So, I need to swap them around. For the future meetings, the next one is July 19th. We hadn't planned out themes for potluck stuff and talked about date and time thoughts. I didn't obviously have anybody show up today for food. I've gotten good feedback from the parents who have come to the food portion of it, of like, we like being able to do that. We like being able to come and eat and, that type of stuff. But I don't feel like it really has served the purpose or the intent of like increasing our participation, drawing more people. Like, my hope was that it would draw more people. The people that have been doing it seem to have enjoyed it, but I don't know. It's like, is it worth it? Is it not, to keep the food element going? You say no.
We got sick so much this school year. And it was like, if I'm going to cut something, like, we have to see people. We have to socialize. Maybe let's not eat where maybe 12 other kids stuck their hand in it.
Right.
Like, so we quit coming to the food part.
Right.
Yeah,
well, and that's one of the nice things.
Serving its purpose. I mean, those parents seem to be coming to the meeting anyway.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's what it's like. I asked last meeting, and they said, yeah, we like the food part. But obviously today, nobody showed up for the food part, which was fine because I didn't end up having time to, like, figure out picnic food anyway. I was like, maybe I'll just grab a sandwich from Subway and put it here, so that at least there's a sandwich and chips if somebody shows up that didn't RSVP. But I didn't have time for that either.
Like a planned activity, if nobody shows up, you save it for later. It's not a big deal. Planned food, like, it's just a waste.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't know. It seems like some people have liked it. It hasn't served the purpose of, like, fellowship and camaraderie and, like, hang out.
Maybe, like, after the meeting, like, offer coffee and tea time. Like, for parents to hang out while the kids do an activity or something. Because that's, again, something that's not wasteful. You push the button to start it if people show up or not.
Right. Yeah. I know, it's just so tricky. Because I liked the idea of it, but it just hasn't, I don't know, it's not panned out quite as much as I hoped that it would. Does the 1 to 2 time frame for meetings seem to work well for you guys?
It does for us.
I've liked it because it gives me time to finish or update anything in the morning, but it's still early enough where it's not the end of the day where I'm doing other stuff. So I personally like that time frame. But maybe if we just did 1 to 2 for the meetings, cut out the food element, and said, if you want to bring a treat to share during the meeting or something, we can, and the kids can have their activities. I did get the feedback of it would be helpful to have the student activity announced in advance.
Yes.
Of, like,
my kids would like.
Yeah, plan what we're going to do, and that might be what draws people in more than the food is the activity that the kids are going to be doing. If the kids have an activity that would draw them in, that would get the parents here for the meeting. Yeah. So it might be that we need to do more of that side of things. Like, okay, let's forget the food. Let's ramp up the student activity to get them in for that. So that might be what we need to do, is just kind of shift gear focus of, like, the focus is the parents coming, but maybe we need the focus to be the kids coming, and then we get the parents because of it. I don't know.
Because if there's nothing scheduled in this room right after, people can linger and kids can hang out in the library. Like, I know mine have always, like, what is the activity? Because a couple of times it's been something they weren't really into. They would have brought something, or they would have just gone straight to the library if they felt rude walking out. So that could be good.
Okay, good to know. I think that's a good plan. And the 1 to 2 p.m., I think for some people that, like, work and stuff, they have been able to do it where, like, they could do their lunch break during that time to, like, log in, even if it's, virtually. Because we have had a couple parents who are like, yeah, I like watching it. I can do that. I can't come in, but I can watch it. What was really nice was when Melissa was our family liaison, she would help manage the Facebook side of things. So she'd be watching, like, as questions and comments would be popping in. She would tell me what was on there, because it's really hard for me. I do the broadcast here on Facebook, but I can't manage toggling back and forth between, this screen and looking to see if anybody has put in a comment or a question. So afterward, I always go and be like, okay, who had questions in the comment spot? And then I can respond to them and answer and, give feedback or reach out to the specific person who asked a question. But, like, in the moment of the meeting, it's too hard to do this and that for one person. So I miss Melissa. And if with that topic in mind, is we are still trying to find a family liaison. I mean, it's been 2 years now that she moved away, and we haven't been able to get somebody to fill that position. So the admin did work on making some requested changes to the what's it called? The job description, because it had some really odd things on there, like that you might have to fly in a small plane and like lead parent in what's it called, like a introductory meeting sort of stuff and some different things like that. That's like,
okay.
As long as I've been here, our liaisons have never had to fly into a small community on a tiny plane or, you know, do this or that. So I think a little bit of it may be that when somebody looks at the job description, it's a little intimidating. Like, I seriously would have to do these things. So multiple different offices have either lost their liaison or they know they're getting ready to have somebody transitioning out and stuff. And so we worked on it a few months ago of like, okay, let's cut all these things, add this part in, you know, to kind of pare it down to what it actually means. So we're waiting for that to hopefully get updated and adjusted because we don't have the ability to do that. We just have the ability to make the recommendations for what would actually make it better. So hopefully we can get that updated job description and then I can send it out again and say, hey, we're still looking for filling this position. It's like, I think it's like either 5 hours a week or 20 hours a month or something. It's not that much, but the amount that it is helps with leading activities. You know, the liaison position and myself always have worked close together for doing the different stuff. When Melissa and I would do the PAC meetings together, then we'd kind of like alternate, so I didn't have to talk the whole time, and that was really nice. But like, okay, you talk about this part, I'll talk about this part, and nobody gets tired of listening to me the entire time. And I don't get tired of listening to myself. So I'd love to have somebody to work with as a liaison. Kellen has done an amazing job of stepping up and doing the, you know, the pieces that he can for that position, and going and doing the activities and helping with the kids' stuff, and he's just been phenomenal. But there is just a certain element of having a parent do that, where you can be in the trenches. Like, you're in there, you're hearing what everybody wants. You also have kids of your own, you know, versus us who don't have kids, to know, like, what do your kids like to do, you know? So I'm hoping for this next year we can get a liaison starting in the beginning of the year. I don't know. You interested?
You're staring at like the only person.
You're my only person here to tell. No, I'm trying to, like, if you, as you are in the trenches with the other parents of like, hey, you'd be great. Have you thought about being the liaison for Raven? You know, you can even promote it with other families too. Like, I know a couple parents that I think would be marvelous at it, but you know, you've got your own lives too, and your kids are the priority in helping them and stuff. I know Melissa enjoyed it for the little bit of extra cash she got that was then her special spending money for, you know, other things of like, I want to splurge on this homeschool thing or that. She told me like, I can't wait to use my, you know, my Raven check this month toward whatever this special thing was she's going to do, you know, so she enjoyed it for those kinds of reasons. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit of something. So I'm hoping we can get a liaison in for this next year to help with that, alleviate a little bit of this, you know, also do some of the activities, and that kind of thing. So it was really nice to have that.
As I'm telling all of my massive friends about this,
yes.
What is the hourly pay for the 28 months?
I think it's somewhere around, I can't remember. I have the job description sitting at my desk. There's like a starting amount, but I think like based on if you have experience with different things, there are some different, you know, like this is the starting amount and stuff. And I kind of want to say like $15 or $16, but I'm not positive if that's actually accurate or not. I can't remember. I just don't remember. But we can look at it on my desk when we need to, because I've got it sitting right there. So yeah, we'd love to have a parent fill that position who is interested and excited in doing stuff. And each of my liaisons have been a little bit different, you know. One of them really was creative, and she loved doing bulletin boards, and she changed up our bulletin boards for us. And then I got Sashi as a clerk, and she was super creative, and so then she did the bulletin boards, and Melissa did other stuff, you know, and so it's been interesting, you know, with different clerks and different liaisons having different skills, and that's where it's like, you know, we work together on different things. Melissa was great at the talking and you know, collaborating and being out there and doing stuff. My previous liaison wasn't as big on that, so I was the one that led the meeting still. She helped me put stuff together, but then I was the voice, you know, and she was the behind the scenes helping me get everything ready and decorating for all of our thematic parties, and you know, she really liked that side of things, of being a little more behind the scenes, and I was out front. And with Melissa, so every liaison we've had has been different and had different skill sets and things. And so that's where, same thing with my clerks. We work with you to, hey, just having that body, that extra person to help with some of that collaboration, such a big deal. So that's what that's about. So we've talked about that. Our next Raven-wide PAC meeting with our director, Kim Berge, will be August 30th at 2:30. She's keeping those quarterly ones going on there. And for this next year, for our badges, the Raven-wide PAC meetings are going to count in with it also. So if you attend a Raven-wide PAC meeting, that counts toward your getting the next one, because we've got the bronze badge for 1 to 4 meetings, silver for 5 to 8, and gold for 9 to 12. We didn't have anybody get to the gold range this year, but I didn't introduce it until mid-year. So now that people know, and I wasn't paying attention to the Raven-wide attendance, so I did add in May's for that counting for people. So, but that means that there's a bonus of 4 more beyond our local monthly ones that can count toward you. So it'll be easier to get to that gold level having those counted in also. So anyway, I think it's fun. I'm trying to just encourage people, get them involved. We've done door prizes in the past and various other types of things too, which I think are fun. I might try to get some more door prizes for each PAC meeting. Like, hey, somebody will win a prize. If you're the only person here, you're definitely going to get it. There will be an incentive.
It's sad, but they are an incentive.
They are.
If, say, each semester you had a Barnes and Noble, you get to get yourself a mom book because you, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah. I thought it was fun. I love our little wheel of spinny prize things. Last month we spun for the Healthy Futures Prize winner. And Reed won that. And so it's fun. It's to show it up on screen. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? So it's so easy to set up and so fun and everything. So I think I want to try and get back to doing some door prizes, doing some, these kind of things, other incentives, because the more people we have, it's been amazing. The meetings where we've had a good 4, 5, 6 parents at it to be all adding in and collaborating, just so marvelous.
It's a good way to meet new people, I think, because new people are maybe a little shy of coming to a random function unstructured.
Right.
But if I have to go for this meeting, if I click with someone, I can hang out after.
Right. Yeah. And even yesterday at the curriculum share, which we've got lots more, please stop in, take a look around. But it was so fun at the curriculum share yesterday. I wasn't actually planning on hanging out in here at all. I was just gonna we had, treats and coffee set up and stuff. But I literally spent the entire hour in here chatting with families, helping with separating out their donations into the spots, them asking me about different things or saying, hey, I loved this, and so I ended up standing here with them the whole hour chatting, and it was just so fun to see the different groups of parents talking about anything and specifics of curriculum and, I really liked this and that worked well for me and what about this activity, and it was just a marvelous time. So, I had some questions today from a prospective parent about how do you support the parent, or I feel like if I do this, if I go into homeschooling, what if I fail? I don't know that I can do this. I'm hey, we're here for you. We've got monthly PAC meetings. We've got monthly parent workshops. We've got all these different opportunities and options to get, to help you have help and support, not just from our staff, but from other parents who are doing it. I said, you're not alone. There's so many people doing this too. All you have to do is come, and you will find this amazing network. Mm-hmm. So I just wish I could help people understand that more of we've got such awesome families, just come and connect with each other. Mm-hmm. I just love it. I love seeing all of our families. When somebody walks in the door, I'm I get to see them. It was hard when we weren't together. Working from home, that was rough.
Yeah.
So anyway, any other questions, feedback, ideas, things that we're not doing, things we could do better?
Yeah, it's 2. Do you need to wrap it up though?
Yeah. Well,
no, I think monthly parent art idea does the
parent art.
It's Let's Make Art. So it's a YouTube video. You can buy the supplies from them. You can print out supplies. And just parents. There's nothing for the kids, so there's no like activity or anything. Parents come and have snacks and coffee and do this really easy watercolor painting. And watercolor painting is pretty, more or less, if you're not artsy, you can still do it.
Right.
Pretty basic. And if you don't really care, you just kind of smudge stuff around. It's having a structured thing,
right,
where new people can feel comfortable about coming.
Right.
And it often leads into, oh my gosh, this kid is driving me nuts on this subject.
Right.
And parents jumping in to do more camaraderie.
Right. Do they do it like in the evening time?
Yes. It's like after dinner, like 6:30.
Okay.
I honestly wouldn't even mind being in charge, so to speak, of getting the colors and printouts or whatever. They open it up to Raven families as well. They have a certain number and cap it.
Right.
And
probably a minimum also. Do they have we have to have at least this many to do it?
I think there was only 2-3 people maybe signed up for the last one I went to.
Okay.
Like, I would assume if there's only one person, maybe you'd cancel. But, and I don't think they do them in the summer at all.
Okay.
But I think they do them like every month, or maybe it's every other month.
Yeah.
But I went twice this last semester, and it was just really nice to go do something not educational, fairly unstructured.
Yeah.
And it's really easy setup. Like, I mean, I don't know tech very well, but like, you just pull it up on there and like hit the pause button a couple times.
Right.
It's easy cleanup. People can easily bring like a fruit tray and a box of crackers.
Yeah.
Just as another way to
to
be honest, I have more friends that I see outside of structured things that go through IDEA.
Right.
So when we kids, we're going to do this activity, they feel like, but Turner's not going to be there, and this kid's not going to be there. And so if the parents can click to where we can organize stuff outside of whatever's happening here, my kids would be far more excited about showing up. IDEA also does chess club. My kids' friends go to that one, and it's not open to Raven, but if you have friends there, you're far more likely to go and be involved.
Right.
So if there was some way to do a parent for fun in the evening thing to help build on that.
Yeah. The hardest part with the evening is getting somebody to be willing to do it outside of their workday.
If it was for this, the Let's Make Art, I would not mind doing it.
Yeah. Well, but if we were doing it here at our office.
Oh.
You know what I mean? See. We have to have a staff member who can unlock the front door and unlock the building here and lock up, when it's done. And because the front door locks when the bank closes at 5 o'clock or whatever. And so then we have to use a key card to get in or out. Before 8 a.m. or after 5, it's only accessible by a key card. So they can, we can ask on a specific day, hey, we've got an activity going on at this time. Can the door remain unlocked until, so if we had
But a staff member would still have to
But
be
a staff
present.
member would have to be present. So that's where it's we'd have to be able to be here to unlock the door and to do that if we had it here. If we organized it where it was somewhere else, where there wasn't that element of us having to be there, then it would be easier to have something, as long as there was somebody that was responsible for doing that running of it thing. I mean, I know I've had some friends who've led art activities for different things, and I know that Bloom Art Studio does, different kind of stuff, and they say on their parties, and I've got a friend at church who is just getting started teaching some of the arts, the lead art things, at Bloom. They were really expensive. I can't remember how much she said it was for somebody to attend, and I was like, I would not pay that much to do that kind of thing. Just no, so if it was something like this where it was
it's basically free. They ask for $5 just to help cover the cost of supplies, but
and there is that little bit of commitment then too of hey, I'm gonna pay $5. I'm gonna do this, I love the idea. The dynamics of,
does the liaison count as an employee?
Oh yeah, that could work. So if we had a liaison that then could do that. For sure, and then she could submit her time, because with the liaison, they're not time specific to for us, we're 8 to 4:30. The teachers have a piece in their contract that says you might be required to do some stuff outside of your contract hours. But for me, I'm hourly, so it's my hours that I can clock are between that time. we have like the exception of graduation. When high school graduation, we've got that,
Right.
late night extra stuff, so I can submit those extra hours there. But in general, it's like 8 to 4:30 is our
Right.
day, and that's when my hours are clocked and that kind of thing. So it could be hey, Kim, can I get approval for 1 extra hour a week in the evening, or can I do a flex thing where I come in an hour late and, do
Yeah.
this? But even at that, it's like, if it's once a month, that's not that much. Sometimes we've even done like our open house in the evening as like a, hey, we want dads to be able to come too, that kind of a thing. So maybe just once a month if we can do this, but if we could get a liaison, that'd be awesome. Or even a teacher who's like, I would love to be artistic and do that too. I'll do that because I just would love to do that. I am not artistic. The ones that we did do at the other office, I was like, I will read everything, but I am not trying to paint along with you. There's no way. I am not artsy. So I really like the idea. I think it would be so much fun. It's just a matter of, how to make it work.
Okay.
So, because of here versus somewhere else, the nice thing of having it here is we have space,
It's also a nice neutral
Right.
location. You're not showing up at somebody's house to be in the garage and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And then my only other thought is I know we discussed like having idea people join us for like pictures and whatever legal
Yep.
stuff. I think that would be really cool if we could figure that out.
Yeah, and I've been chatting with a couple different dynamics of that, and I think, we have invited IDEA kids to participate in our chess club and, some other things. They've called and said, hey, can I come and do this too? And I said, yep, just make sure you're signing up with our sampling because we need to know who's coming. And then I think we've got our field trip activity participation form and like guidelines. And so I think what we're going to try and do this year is just have that paper form for anybody that's outside of Raven, because Raven families are now going to be doing that in Brightways. That'll be part of your enrollment packet, which normally was just on paper, but it's like I still have a paper version. So what I can do is, if you're not from Raven, you need to read our guidelines and sign this. It'll last for the whole year, but this is for this school year. Know that these are our guidelines, and that way you can also mark off on participate or the photo thing, because that's always tricky. I'm like, that kid's not with us, I've got to make sure I crop them out of the photo, or they were in the very middle of this group photo, I can't use it, which is frustrating on that side of things. But I think we should be able to make that happen and work. Not necessarily that I'll like advertise to IDEA of these things, but knowing that, hey, if you've got a friend in IDEA that would like to do this with us, they can. We obviously want to make sure that the families enrolled with us have preference for like things that are limited in space. Like, okay, we only have this much room. We want to make sure our families are doing it. But if we've got plenty of room and there's not a cap on it, like
for Joan doing her hiking, she did a once a week, once a month hike. Like that could have been the difference between her walking alone or 5 kids that maybe they weren't Raven but they showed up anyway.
And maybe it's something even to consider posting some of our stuff that would be like that in the Capital City Homeschoolers Facebook group of like, hey, this is something that anybody could come to. We want to share it out there. If there's other families that want to join us, sign up and fill out the field trip form.
And there could be, I know there's other activities that IDEA does that they don't, maybe they're not wanting to advertise, but they do let Raven family join as well, where it might work mutually for us. Like, if we both want to do this activity, but we have 2 kids, you've got 6, you guys host, and vice versa.
I had that with Pokemon Club. They were doing Pokemon Club over at IDEA. Sorry, too much talking, just got dry throat. And then the person who was helping to run it left, Alexia. And so then the other person that was working with her, I can't remember who it was now, asked me, hey, would you guys be willing to host it at your location now that we're not doing it over here? I said, sure. But I don't know anything about it. So, like, if you want to run it, you can use our spot. Tell me, what you need from our side. We can organize it, let me know when you want to do it, and we can totally get that on the calendar. I never heard anything back, so we didn't pursue it. But it's like anything, and that actually brings up a great stuff that I've worked on since I got the agenda ready last week. Yesterday, at our curriculum share, I was chatting with a parent who wanted to start up a middle school girls group. So we chatted about it, talked about the details, we got it set on the calendar. So there's going to be a 5th through 8th grade girls gathering once a week, hour and a half. She's going to run it. She's got a few friends who she said would help her with it. We're going to provide the location and the advertising, and she's going to be the one running it. I've got another family who wants to start a monthly kids book club.
Aww.
And the student has done all this planning. They've picked the books. He's talked to me about it. He's like so thrilled about all this stuff. So the last step is just getting it on the calendar. So I reached out this week and said, hey, we're starting to get things chosen on the calendar. Let's get this set. And so, I mean, he's just over the moon excited about the plans and like, you know, what they're going to do for the book club and everything. I would love to see more families wanting to lead things and be like, hey, I'll do that like we had with Terrific Tuesdays for a while this year, you know. I'll lead this activity. We just need your space and your help with advertising. I can manage the signups and, you know, advertising, getting the flyers sent out, doing all that stuff. If somebody else is running the activity, awesome. I mean, we would love to have more of that. So we've now got a middle school girls group set up. Maybe we need a middle school boys group, you know?
Yeah.
And the same kind of thing. The mom that's going to do that, she said, we have some idea friends. We would like to be able to come to it too. Is that okay? I said, yeah, definitely. No problem. You know, it's just going to be a matter of let's have them sign that field trip participation form. So we've got the, you know, the stuff on file of like, if something were to happen and we have your contact information, we have your permission to use the picture, you know, and you understand, hey, these are the expectations that you listen to the person who's in charge, you know, don't swear. We had that with one of the kids that shocked me a little bit of like, we don't use that kind of language here, please. I don't want to hear that. I don't all these other kids around here don't want to hear that, you know, but if we have that signed by them, then it's easier to address any potential troubles. You know?
Cover bases. That's good.
Exactly. So, I love it. I would love to get more things like that going where a parent's like, hey, I want to do this. Great. Let's look at the calendar. We'll get it going. You know, I can only run so many things because of my other responsibilities. As much as I want to just do everything, you know, oh, I want to do a monthly show and tell, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. I would love doing all of these different things, but I do have to make sure I'm not putting too much on my plate for everything else that I've got to manage and keep going. So, with a liaison, with more families getting involved and parents saying, I want this and I'm willing to make it happen, we will make it happen with you. If you're willing to put forth that effort, I mean, spread the news to your friends too, of like, hey, let's get some things going. Let's, you know, let's start this kind of club or that kind of club. Let's do, you know, I would love to get the yearbook committee going again because we had a great time with that the 2 years that the kids were the ones putting it together, you know. We had a digital animation club for a while that one of our high school students ran. He was interested and into animation and said, can I start this? I said, sure. And he told his friends and he had a whole group of like 5 or 6 of them. They'd come, they'd use our space, they'd chat, they'd show each other what, you know, some kids were drawing, some were on the computer. I mean, they did their little stuff and met once a week and it was awesome. More power to you, yes.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to see our NHS kids organize more things for us too and try and get them in that leadership capacity. So anybody out there who wants something started, come talk to me. We're putting things on the calendar now. So, you know, I think we can have a great, great school year. We can have so much fun, neat things planned. It really helps to have that collaboration with the families, getting involved and helping to lead them, helping to run it, you know.
Dr. Shell. She can't do liaison stuff, but trying to convince her to do like a historical conquest.
We actually in our Delta office had a liaison who was not a parent, but got hired for it because they could not find a parent liaison. So they ended up getting somebody from the community hired. So it doesn't actually say that it has to be an enrolled parent.
Well then.
So if that would be something she would be interested in, I know she would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
So as much as like my thought and the thought with the position is that it was a parent is ideal because they're enrolled, they know what it's like to be a parent, they can remind other parents, they're in the trenches. If we cannot find that, somebody like Rochelle would be amazing because she has those skills too. So, I mean, you can chat with her about it if she wants to get involved. And if she wants to, you know, be a vendor to teach classes and do different things here at our office too, of like, hey, let's do a monthly this kind of class or that kind of class, or and I know she's busy with her classes.
I tried talking her into taking a teacher's position before you find somebody, but I was like, hey, this really sucks for me, but it'd be good for you. Oh, I need more time. But
she's awesome.
Ask her about that.
Share a word. And, I mean, even if she wants to just have some other things like, you know, a once a month class or a workshop or something that she does here, you know, we would love to collaborate with her and have her help with, you know, some of those kinds of things and pay her for it, you know. Anybody else out there with skills and interests in teaching things, come talk to us.
All right.
Yeah. I love being able to collaborate and get things on the calendar that kids are interested in. You know, it's like, hey, this is something I would like to do. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Because life's better when there's more people. Like, you know, when people thank me for putting something together, I'm like, thank you for coming. Yeah. Because if you didn't come, I wouldn't be able to have this fun with you. Like, you know, this is a two-way street here.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Anything else? I love your ideas. Keep sharing. You too on mine.
For months.
And you don't have to wait to share ideas. Know that it's around. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to end our broadcast. Any of you online who are watching now or later, know that we want your feedback. Please do collaborate and tell us what you would like, and then get involved. Because as you saw, like 4 of these things on our upcoming activities list are things that specifically were requested in a recent PAC meeting. So, all right, I'm ending this now, if I can find the right button.